Hello there, and welcome to this tutorial. Today we will be making a tower defense game, just like Bloons Tower Defense. If you haven't played Bloons Tower Defense, let me show it to you really quick. So, through this path there are coming some balloons, and these guys here has to kill the balloons before they reach the end. Then you can place them. So you see when the balloons comes by, the monkeys will start popping them. And eventually you'll get more and more things, and stronger and stronger balloons will come by. And that is exactly what we're going to make today. Let me just show you. There come some blue balloons here that are a bit stronger, and oh no, they pass by. So, let's get started. I've already prepared some sprites here, also a background. There is a balloon. There is a turret. There is the bullet that the turret can shoot. There is a button that will create the turret. And down here we have the map as the background. And here we have, you see, this is actually the place on the map here where we can't place the towers. So we can't place the towers on the path, on the black things over here, or on the stones, but we'll fix that later. So the first thing we're going to do is to create a new room and make it the same size as your background, so that the background will fit. And then we create an object for the balloon. There we go. Link to sprite. And to make the balloon move through this, we need to make what's called a path. And here you can select what room you want as background, just so it gets a bit easier to place the path in the room. So we can put the snap to 1:1, and remember to not close the path. Then we'll just circle around, and that's just not what we wanted. We also want a smooth curve here. So you can just start by clicking where you want the path to go, and the balloon will move in that path. There we go. Let's just call this room main, and let's just close it for now. So when the balloon is created, it needs to follow the path, and we can do that by selecting this event here, not the event but the action here, selecting the path, setting a speed, and telling what to do in the end, also if it needs to be relative or absolute. In this case we want it to be absolute because we want it to start from, no, we want it to be relative actually. Let me show you why in a moment. So there's a new balloon in the room. Let's go ahead and place one, just like that. So you see the balloon will start following the path. And you might notice that it is a bit off the path here. And that is because we need to set the balloon's position to the same position as the path start position. You see here, the path start position here, the first point, the very first point, is -71 and 107. So we'll go ahead and do that. So in the balloons create element here, x equals -71 and y equals 107. And we do that before the path starts. So now the path should work just fine, and it does. So the balloon will follow the path. So now the balloon can move along the path. We need to create a turret that can shoot the balloon when it comes by. So let's start up by naming it here, turret. Give it a sprite turret here, and let's assign some variables to it. This turret needs to be able to detect if there's a balloon nearby, but only in a specific range. So we set the range to 200, and we also need to tell how harmful this tower is. So we create a variable called damage, set it to 1. We also need to tell how often this tower can shoot. So the shoot interval, let's call it delay, equals 20. you see how you can determine how big this thing needs to be is to go here and look at the room speed. The room speed here is 30. That means that 30, if you put 30 here, then it will be 1 second. If the room speed was 60 and I put 30 in here, then it would be half a second. So we'll put 20, so it's just below a second that the shoot interval is. So we go ahead here and create a step event, and before we do anything we need to check if there are any balloons in the room. If there are not, we can just exit this event. So we check if the instance number, that is the number of the instances in the room, and we need to specify what object we want. So we say object balloon is equals 0, then exit. Then if you write exit here, the code down here will not be run. It will just exit and do nothing afterwards. So if there are no balloons, exit, and if there are balloons, then we need to get the balloon that is nearest to the turret, because we want multiple balloons. So we say here variable nearest equals instance nearest. This will get the nearest instance. We need to specify what position the turret is at, and there's just x and y. That's the x and y coordinate of the turret. Also what object we need to check for. We need to check for balloons. So this will get the nearest balloon into this variable called nearest. And then we need to find out how far away it is, because we don't want it to target. We don't want the turret to target the balloon before it's within its range. So we say variable distance, we just call it this here, and we'll say use the function that's called point distance, and equals, in here you put 2 points, the 2 points you want to find the distance between, and these are the x and y coordinate of the turret and the x and y coordinate of the nearest balloon. Nearest to the y. So what we also need to do, no, we don't need to do anything else. We need to check if the distance is smaller than range, because if it is, then it's time to look at the balloon. And we'll look at the balloon through the thing called image angle, which is the rotation of the sprite, and that needs to equal, just like point distance, there's a thing called point direction, which is the direction between 2 points. And we just go at the turret's x coordinate and the nearest balloon's coordinates here, nearest at x, nearest at y. So you see here, if we place some turrets in the room, we'll place one here and there and there, and we run the game. You will see when the balloon comes by, the tower will start looking at it, but only if it's within the tower's range. So that's great. We've got the tower to look at the balloon. Now it's time to make it shoot. So we'll create a new object that's called object bullet here. Link it to the sprite, and we actually don't need to put anything in here except that we want to tell how much damage this thing here does, and we need to say damage equals 1, because this bullet is a weak bullet. And as you remember, we set up this variable here called delay. What we're going to do is when the balloon is inside the range, then delay needs to count down, and when delay is 0, then we will shoot and reset the delay, so that we get a break between each time we shoot. So we just go when the balloon is inside range, then delay should be minus minus. Minus minus is the same as saying minus equals 1. It's just a shorter way of writing it. Also, I'm using lots of semicolons here. You don't have to do that, but in other programming languages it's used a lot and is necessary to make them work. So it's just a habit from me, but you can use it if you want. It's not required in GameMaker. So when the delay is 0, then we need to shoot. So we say var bullet equals instance create xy object bullet. This will create a bullet at the position of the turret. And what we need to do here is to say bullet.direction, which is the direction of the bullet, needs to be the same as our image angle, the sprite rotation. Bullet.speed equals the difference between direction and image angle here is that image angle is the rotation of the sprite, and direction is the rotation of the object, if you can say so. The difference is that image angle is visual and direction is not. Direction is the moved direction. So the moved direction of the bullet needs to be the same as our sprite rotation. I hope you understood that. But let's see here. Bullet.speed needs to be, let's say, 20. And we need the bullet to do 1 in damage. You can set this to 10 or whatever. It's 1 as default, but just to show that you can change it right here. Instead of creating a new bullet, you can just do it there. So we have shot this bullet now. Now we need to reset the delay. So say delay equals what was it in the beginning? 20? I think so. 20 here. What we can do here is to set up a start delay and just make it equal delay. So instead of just saying 20, then we can say start delay here. Then we can just think of this variable and never think of the code inside the step event. I like it that way. I think it's a bit organized, but you can do it both ways. So let's see if that works. Let's go ahead and run the game. So balloon comes by and it shoots after a delay. Ain't that beautiful? So now when we got the turret to shoot, we want the balloon to get hurt by the bullet. So we set up a collision event between the bullet and the balloon, where we say when the balloon is hit, its health points needs to become other.id.damage, so that it will reduce its health points with the damage of the bullet. Other returns the colliding instance in a collision event. So ID here is the instance of the colliding object. So it will return the bullet here. It's a bit confusing, but once you get more into GameMaker, you'll understand it more easily. But for now, I'll just leave it this way. It will get the damage variable from the bullet here. We've set it up here. Damage equals 1. So if our damage, if HP is smaller than or is 0, then we need to self-destruct. Instance destroy. Also we need to destroy with other.id instance destroy. That will destroy the bullet. So reduce health, destroy the bullet, and if our health points is lower than 0 or is 0, then we need to self-destruct. Let's see what happens here. Run the game. So when the balloon gets shot now, it should destroy itself. Whoops, what happened here? Oh yeah, one thing we forgot. If you use a variable here that we have not defined, then it's not going to work. So we'll just set it up here. HP equals, let's give it a health of 3. So the balloon needs to get shot 3 times before it pops. Let's see here. Shoot once, shoot once, shoot twice. There, it died. Cool, so now we have a balloon that can kill itself, and that's pretty nice. So, the thing we want to do, we don't want towers just placed there, then there would be no game for the player, so we need the player to place these towers. To do that, we'll create an object for this button here. So the point is that you click this button and you will be able to place a turret where you want in the room. You can also see its range while placing it, so you can strategically place it. Let's just create the button for now. And I've set up the button like that so it has two images, one when it's not hovered and one when it is hovered. When the mouse is not there, when the mouse is there. So we first off have to make the image speed 0, so that it does not animate the sprite and keeps the sprite at one image always. When the mouse enters, the image index needs to be 1, and when the mouse leaves, we need to set the image index to be 0. You see here, right here, the image index is 0. No mouse. When the mouse enters, it goes like this. Image index is 1. So that's it. Let's just see if that works. Want to place the button like there. And you see when I hover the mouse over the button, it will start flashing like that. So, when we click the button, we want a tower to be placeable here. So we say mouse, left pressed, instance create, mouse X, mouse Y, object tower, like that. Oh, turret it was called. Yes, and if we do that right now, the turret will just be placed below the button down there, and we want it to be placed where we click the second time. So what we do here is to say click amount equals 2, because the first time I click is when I click the button, then the click amount will be 1. And when I then click again, the click amount will be 0, and then the tower will start working. So we'll set the click amount to 2. And whenever I click somewhere in the room, we need to select a global mouse event. That can be anywhere in the room, not just on the turret. We need to set the, what would you call, click amount? Click amount minus, like that. And we also want to exit the rest of the step event, because we don't want the turret to shoot when it's not placed, because then the player could just take a tower and move it around and then shoot the balloons like that. We don't want that, of course. So we say if there's no balloons, if there are no balloons, or click amount is larger than 0, then exit. Also, when the tower is about to be placed, we want to draw a circle of its radius, so we can see where you can detect the balloons. So we go in here, we set draw, set color, just give it a nice color, see white, and let's set up some transparency here so we can see through the radius. Draw set alpha to 0.4, and then draw a circle, at the position of the tower with the radius range. And we don't want to draw the outline here, we just want to draw a circle that is filled. But then we draw the outline. It needs to be a outline that has the transparency 1. So we go by that. And let's see how that looks. Of course, we only need to draw it when click amount is larger than 0. like that. And since there usually is no draw event, the sprite will just draw itself. But when we add a draw event, we override the default draw event, so therefore there will be no sprite except we just use this draw self down here. Then the sprite will draw itself again. So let's see how that looks. Play start. And you see, just like it does here, which is really good, we see its range, and we see down here, we just need to make it follow the mouse when it is about to be placed. So we see here, if click amount is larger than 0, then we need to set the X position to mouse X and Y position to mouse Y. Then it will follow the mouse. So let's see here. I click the button here, place start, and I place it, and then it will start shooting. We see its range, we see everything here. The thing we don't want it to is to be placed on the road or on the stones, and that is why I've made this map here, because we don't want the turret to be placed in the black areas here. So we'll make an object, call it object map mask, and we'll select that one. You need to modify the collision mask here, and be sure to put an alpha tolerance here, because how this works is not like the image is not white in the background, it's actually transparent. So you need to modify the mask so that it fits only these things, or else it will just check for collision on the whole object, and that's not what we want. So we have this map mask here, and what we will do here is to go to the step end here and say if click amount slash global left pressed, click amount smaller than 0. Yeah, we only need to reduce the click amount if there is not a map mask below the cursor. We can use what's called position meeting. That will check if an object is at a position, and we don't want XY, we want the mouse coordinates, mouse X and mouse Y. If there is no map mask, then we can reduce the click amount. Also, to make that visible to the user, we can make the circle become red when the map mask is below the mouse. So we see here, if position not is meeting, then we set the color to white. If not, we can use else, draw set color, see red, then it will draw a red color. So if map mask is below the coordinates of the mouse, set the color to white. If it's not, set the color to red. No, the opposite of what I said, but you get my point. So let's see here, we run the game. And one thing we forgot is to put in the map mask here, like that. We also need to make it invisible. So just click this, make sure this visible thing here isn't there, and let's see what happens here. So we click place hover here, and when I move it onto this here, you see that I can't place it here. I'm trying to click now, I can't, but I can place it here, and then the balloon can die. So I hope this could give you a good start of what a tower defense game is. If you'd like to get more of more episodes of this tower defense game, then leave a like on this video, because that way I will know if I should make more of this. So thanks for watching, and see you later.